Well, the engines fire up on a Saturday night. Virtual rubbers burning, everything feels right. It's not about fame, no sponsors in sight. Just the Matt Malone League holding on tight. He's the mustache master, chaos king supreme. Matt Malone's a driver at the heart of the team. From Miatas to trucks, it's a wild dream. You never know what's next, it's a racing meme. Oh, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream. Every week's a twist in this wild machine. From ovals to road, it's a fever dream. In the Malone League, we live the stream. Behind Bill calls a play-by-play with the buzz in his voice and a flare display. It's a lot of fun, it's a little bit hectic. Malone League love, full throttle electric. Tracks keep changing, what's it gonna be? Could be Lime Rock, Tide, or Daytona free. Throw us in Legends or GT3. It's chaos with style on virtual TV. Behind Bill's in the booth with a whiskey grin, calling out moves and the odds spin. Car 42 just lost it again, but we're all in it deep, no matter who wins. In the Discord chat, it's a festival vibe with memes and screams and the classic jibe. You miss one race, you'll feel deprived, cause the league ain't just fast, it's alive. So salute to the folks who crash with pride, who take a jump line or go wide on the ride. From the back of the grid to the checkered side, you're part of the legend with Malone as guide. Oh, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream. Every week's a twist in this wild machine. From ovals to road, it's a fever dream. In the Malone League, we live the stream. Behind Bill calls a play-by-play with a buzz in his voice and a flare display. It's a lot of fun, it's a little bit hectic. Malone League love, full throttle electric. No pit strategy could plan this mess, but that's what makes it the very best. We ain't pros, but we pass the test, cause we race with heart, forget the rest. Yeah, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream, fueling up dreams on a pixel beam. Fast or last, we're still a team. In the Malone League, full sense supreme, with Beehive Bill shouting every thrill, and Malone bringing vibes that always kill. It's fun, it's wild, it's kinda poetic. Matt Malone's League, glorious and hectic.
Welcome back to the Matt Malone Patron League as we head into the second round at the virtual Weathertech Raceway Laguna Seca in the States. We had a large grid for the inaugural event last week at Okayama, and we are expecting a larger field of drivers to jump into the Toyota GR86s on the iRacing service within the next few minutes. Drivers will have 20 minutes to get onto the virtual tarmac and set their qualifying times in the open session, with all drivers fighting it out. A wider circuit this week should allow drivers to find enough space around the track to put in an uninterrupted lap. But before we start this week's race, let's travel back to Japan, back to Okayama, and let's remind ourselves what happened at the season's inaugural race. There you go! Their foots are to the floor as we head up to turn number 1 of the inaugural round of the Matt Malone Patron League. Checkers around the outside. Matty Quill gets that position up the inside. No, that's a spin! No! Checkers is around! And that is major in the background. Within the first minute of the race, a number of cars involved. That's a spin! Who was that? That's Matty Quill! Matty Quill has gone around. As the 18 just loses it. Then we can put up. Oh no, who's that going around? That's the number 9 machine, Immortal Hitman, goes around in turn number 8. Eric Yeagle, 11th position as that up the inside goes Rocks Live. What a move into P at number 11 in that number 69. Nice machine. Or is it just me again? He continues to fall, and he's not recovered as around goes Daigle. Contact with the 25, the Hernster. The Taco Bell is gonna need to go to the toilet after that one. A big lump on the side. Matt Malone on the left-hand side, on the outside of Slugger, through turn number 1. Can he make it? Yes, he can make it. As I'll finally stop that music that I realised has been playing in the background this whole time. Working as well as it is. There he is. He's side by side. We were riding on board. We didn't even see the number 9 of Immortal Hitman around the outside. Mad Dog is going to have to drop behind. Who's that going around in the background? But look how close Slugger is once more. And he moves to the right-hand side. He just dips there, trying to possibly make a move through. He can't quite do it. He's going to stay behind. There's some back markers between themselves and fifth. So they're in a protected position, but they're both around. Tufu, he saves it. Extra Pickles falls down. Apex Minion moves into 4th. It's maybe not so comfortable for Matt Malone as Slugger goes for the inside line. Of course, Matt Malone got the lead of the race on the outside. Can he hold it on the outside? I think there was a little bit of a touch there. Some smoke coming off. It's going to be Matt Malone on the inside line through Williams here. And he is going to hold through the exit of turn 2. Slugger's going to dive to the left-hand side though. Is that going to activate the spotter? That's definitely activating the spotter. Matt Malone sticks to the right-hand side. He's going to have the inside. Slugger could carry out some more speed. Go for a switch back here. He drops in behind. They're side by side here. Looking for the lead. Slugger breaks just a little bit later. Is there going to be contact between the two of them? No, they give each other so much racing room. Now, brilliant. Slugger to the inside. They're still side by side. There we go. The white flag is out here. Malone is behind. Do it. Heading up to the hairpin though. Half the circuit goes Slugger all the way to the right-hand side. All the way to the left-hand side. All the way to the right-hand side. All the way to the left-hand side. Matt Malone does not know which way to go. Malone all over the rear end of Slugger. He moves to the inside. Is there going to be enough space? Slugger breaks late. Malone's got it. But it is going to give Slugger the inside unless Malone can get the overlap here. No, he can't. Slugger's up the inside. Matt Malone on the outside here. Malone on the grass. Who's going to pull out ahead? Slugger pushing on the inside, but Malone's got it. Malone cuts to the right-hand side. Matt Malone is going to win the opening Matt Malone Patron League race. He wins just ahead of Slugger behind in P2. The Matt Malone Patron League is open for all of Malone's Patriots, and you can still join the league even though it's already begun. We have a very mixed bag of drivers from years of experience and those that have only just jumped onto the service. That's not the only way, though, that this league is interesting, because not only do we visit a different circuit each week, our drivers have to get used to a different car each week as well. Last week, they ventured out in the GT4s, and this week, a singular car, the Toyota GR86s. What do we have coming up for the rest of May, then? Every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Central? Well, we're out of the tin top sports car at the end of this week and jump into the open-topped Radical SR8s, a car which I am still nervous about jumping into myself, so I'm going to say up here in the virtual booth and safety out of that machine. But a great track there visiting Mosport, the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Canada, a rewarding, flowing and technical track. It is going to create some fantastic racing. Back south into the States on May 24th in the Porsche Cup cars as we head off to Road Atlanta. The Porsches are another car that I have never driven before, and after watching Malone in them, I'm going to continue to avoid them. Rounding out May on the 31st, we're off to Road America in the Ligier P3s, the quickest car of the month at the quickest circuit. A great way to celebrate the first month of the inaugural season of the Matt Malone Patron League. But enough about the future. Let's turn to today. The Toyota GR86s at Laguna Seca, surrounded by gravel, so drivers prepare to see a constant flash of the red and yellow debris flags. At 2.2 miles long and a whooping 180 feet elevation change, the Laguna Seca Raceway was built in 1957 on a long dried up lake in Monterey County, California. The first race was held shortly afterwards on November 9, 1957, and over the years the circuit has hosted major events such as IndyCar Series, the IMSA Sports Car Championship, Kart and MotoGP, to name but a few. Now, however, it's the virtual counterparts that is going to host the most prestigious series of all time. Welcome to the Matt Malone Patreon League. I hope you are having a fantastic Saturday, and what a Saturday it has been for those that have been following along on Matt Malone's stream. What a start to the day. Absolutely congratulations to Matt Malone for his first ever Indy 500 victory. That was very well deserved, and it had me puckering the whole way. This race, though, a little less serious, off the back of another less serious race, and I have to say that I am feeling a lot safer stood at my desk ready to do the commentary than down in the rig that I was just 10 minutes ago, because that was nerve-wracking as anything, and I do much better up here. So we have got the second round of this series heading our way shortly. Of course, the first round kicking off last week. I'm gonna say that it feels a bit like it might be rigged after the results, of course, with Matt Malone winning last time out at Okayama. Now, I was talking to, I sent a quick message in Slugger's Twitch earlier just to wish him luck for this race, to prove to Matt that he can't win all of his own races. And he said, Matt seems to be quick in whatever car he goes into, unlike Slugger. He said he doesn't feel that quick. So Slugger, obviously the driver that was battling race along with Matt Malone last week. But how does this season look then? I don't have my beautiful graphics ready for you yet. They are being built. We've got some new graphics this week, as shown on the screen already and with our broadcast overlay, but there are a few bits that are still in the process of being made, and they will come and they will look okay. So Matt Malone is leading the championship with 25 points from his victory last week, and it is Slugger, of course, in second with 21 points. Now, with the championship standings, of course, they are all their driver names in iRacing, and not the names that we have come to love on the broadcast last week. So I'm going to run through the top 10 in the standings out of last week, but they won't be their names that we'll see in the races. I'll try to link them up as best as I can, but I'm not great at doing that, so we'll give it a go. Brian Stockmar is in third position in the championship, 18 points, followed by Aula Tufu, Nick Bowen in fifth, Carter Price in sixth, Andrew Kemp is in seventh position, followed by Enrico Mueller, Riley Graham, and Joshua Lloyd. That's your top 10. Obviously, from P3 down to P20, the difference is only 1 point. So across the whole season, it's going to be extremely tight with those points, because just even though a driver may have finished all the way down in a 10th, so let's look at Joshua Lloyd. He finished in 10th last week. He got 11 points. Well, that means he's only 7 points off of third position. So if Brian Stockmar does not get any points today, all Lloyd would need is P14, and he would be tied with Brian Stockmar already. So it shows that actually the point system means that this is going to be a very fluctuating series in terms of the results. But it is now time for the league to be open. So I am going to jump my way across into the session. It is lovely Laguna Seca, like I say, surrounded by gravel traps everywhere. There's not a single section where you can run off and not kick some debris up onto track. So by the end of the race, even though it's only 20 minutes, I'm sure we are going to get an absolute cat litter all over the circuit. So let's get ourselves loaded into this session. I I was figuring out, I'm so glad that I did the highlight video this week, because that 4-minute highlight video gave me the chance to reset my iRacing up, because I had set it up for triple monitors and I needed to come over here and get it down to single monitors. And it's the most annoying thing trying to change from singles to triples within the space of 1 minute. Because I went live the moment that I escaped the session in the Clio League. That's a terrible timing. Oh my word, I don't know why I signed up for that, but that was great fun indeed. And we have got a great circuit here, like I say, 2.2 miles around the Monterey County lake bed. And the most famous corner, I would say, in the whole world outside of the carousel at the Nordschleife. That's my honest opinion. I would say that this massive drop, if it's beyond belief actually. I would love to see it in person, because the closest I've ever got to a drop like that would be when I went and visited the Brands Hatch circuit. Now, I know that that's quite a big drop going down into Paddock Hill Bend, but when I went and visited the circuit a few years ago, I was actually amazed at how big that drop actually was, and walking up the hill beside the drop was ridiculous. It was, I struggle anyway, I'm not exactly an athletic person. I sim race and I stand around doing talky stuff, so I'm not exactly the most athletic person. However, I found that quite tricky, and I know that that's nothing in comparison to the drop here at Laguna Seca. So, we are in the session, and I am going to load up our overlay system now, because I think if I load it this way around, so I'm sorry if that was a bit of an issue there, I believe if I load it this way around, we'll actually get some session highlights on my screen, which would be really, really great to have, because I didn't have that last week, once it all loads up. So, drivers are out on track at the moment. We will get around to it in about 1 minute's time when we're able to jump into the session and get everything loaded for you. And we will see where everyone stands. Of course, an open qualifying session, 20 minutes, which means drivers need to get in as soon as they can to get out, get their laps. And actually, there seems to be a few drivers quite close to each other here on track. So, I mean, personally, for me, that really helped when I was doing the Clio practice session. Driving behind someone was how I was learning the track. So for some of these drivers, it might be that they want to stick close behind somebody because then they get to learn the track. Now, I think this is the right the right overlay system. It's not the right name for it, but let's see if it works nicely indeed as we are going to appear on track. Oh my word, there are the cars. Excellent stuff. Look at that beautiful screen for us there. This is how you know this is a very good one. Oh, that's the wrong monitor. There's my family. I cannot get my monitor up, guys. Right, give us a second and we will get this working. Interesting there. Right, this is decided to happen. This is what happens when I stream, when I race before I stream. Right, let me get my timing screen up so at least I can talk to you whilst I fix our issues of being able to see the circuit here. And I don't know why it is displaying the wrong screen, and I am going to give this another go. Oh no. Okay. Right, we are, I'm figuring this out, guys, don't worry, we are getting it figured out so that we can, qualifying at the moment going on, there's 5 minutes so far, we will talk through in a moment. I'm having some issues with this, I do apologise, but I am going to flick some things around and hope that I can get it, even if the game is on the monitor that it wants to stream and not my actual one. That is absolutely fine. Okay. And we are going to try this again. We are going to jump back into the session, and hopefully this time we can make it work. I do apologize for this. No, I genuinely, this is because I was on the triple monitors and then jumped straight onto streaming, and I didn't test that screen, and I should have tested that screen, because you don't want to see my family. You want to see the racing that is going on at the moment, well, the qualifying that is going on at the moment. A very full grid, as expected. All, obviously, the Toyota GR86s. Now, I like this car, because when you ride on board, the body roll in the car is a lot of fun indeed to sort of not try to handle, just experiencing that body roll. I don't know what it is for me. In cars with a high amount of body roll, they're just more fun, I think. They're just more fun. You sort of feel going through a corner. Like when you're in a GT3 car, for example, you go through a corner, you don't feel going through the corner, because you just get through it nice and easily. But in a car like this, like you bump up on a curb, you feel the roll as you go round a sharp corner at speed. It's just a lot of fun. Right, I'm hoping this will now launch onto the secondary monitor, which is what my plan was. And if not, I'm going to have a few issues with trying to get the overlay to work. So I can definitely get the game to work, but I wouldn't be able to get the overlay to work, I think. Aha! Aha ha ha! That was I've solved it. I haven't actually solved it, but I certainly have got the game up at the very least. Let's get across there. We've got the game at the very least, even if we don't have the overlay working at the moment. That's not too much of the issue. I will get the overlay up as you... we just watched the most interesting, so these are the cars that are closest. You've got to remember, this is a qualifying session, guys. This is not practice. This is not the race. This right here is qualifying. And look at them! All over each other. Right, can we get some information up on the right screen, or is it going to show it on the wrong screen? It's going to show it on the correct screen. There we go. We've got qualifying up. We've got 11 minutes left, so about halfway through this session, which is great. We can jump in. Now, this timing is probably going to come up on your screen. There it is. I'll get that out of your way. I'll get that on my screen in front of me. You don't need to see that. You don't need to see that. This is the most professional stream you've seen in your life, yes? All my session events are working. That's great. You don't need to see that. Stop trying to sneak a peek behind the scenes of the very professional broadcast that is going on here. Right. Okay, we're in. We're ready. Okay. Let's see what are our qualifying times looking like at the moment. Is Slugger on top? He told me that he wasn't feeling that fast in these cars. He's obviously not had a look at those times that he's currently putting in. Excellent timings right there at the top of the timing sheet. It's Matty Quill in P number 2. Oh, no, I'll strike that from the record. It's Aula Tufu in P number 2, and it's Matty Quill in P number 3. Richard Dempsey comes into the series, wasn't here last week. He gets into 4th. As let's get some more information up for you, because we do have it. Here is Scrubbertron running around in 12th position at the moment in a number 8 machine. A best lap of a 38.7. It's put him just a little bit off of Bob Strelly there in P11. I mean, just a little bit, the smallest of gaps there. How are we doing though with our lap times? This is Al Latifu. He is in 2nd position. He's going to want to improve on that and see if he can go up at all. A lot of off-tracks I'm seeing on my event screen here, which means that a lot of the drivers are invalidating their laps. And in such a short qualifying session, that's not what you're going to want to do. You're not going to want to invalidate your laps like that. Right. But this is Aulatufu. He is in the 26th car. He is following behind the number 20 machine, I think that is. Just in front of him, which would be Tony Jabroni. The 20 machine is running in P8 right now, 1.2 off. But you can just see that big gap there from the top 4 to 5th position of Showtime. It just doesn't seem to be that time back there for the rest of the field at the moment. So it looks like we might have a good 4-car fight nearer the front, but I can see that Matt Malone is yet to join the server. I cannot at least see his name. I'm going to see if I can search him. Yeah, no, Matt Malone not currently in the server. So he's running low on time now to see if he can try and get into the series for this event and get himself nearer the front of the field as Alatufu continues around. How about Slugger? Has he come out? Oh, there goes Slugger. Good racing line there by the number 12. That's called the Rallycross line. That's the line you want to do if you're happy with P1. But with just the gap you've got, you don't want to extend that gap anymore. That's the racing line you go for. How about Dempsey here? The number 30 comes around the final corner. We ride on board. He's in 4th position. Will he improve? No, that's a yes. No, no, he doesn't. That's a very slow lap indeed. It looks like he might have been caught up with a few drivers. Let's ride on board. Matt is milk drinker indeed. The Indy 500 winner. A fantastic win. Can he win again today is the question. But bearing in mind the commentator beats him in the feature race in the Clio Cup, so I would say not. No, I'm only joking. That was just pure luck with the fact that it was raining and they put me on pole position. Richard Dempsey having an okay start to the lap here. Not the best. Can he improve is going to be the question right now. Slugger at the top of that timing screen. It looks like I have some possible issues with the overlay with the timings. That's okay. Oh, he's milk drinker in P9. Oh, I've got you. Thank you so much for that update. Yes, I see. 24 position. Sorry, number 24 car. Matt Malone is the milk drinker in P10. Looking quite slow compared to those near the front. Let's see if he's able to move his way up the order by the end of this. We run from Dempsey. He's going to come up to turn 11 into the final turn. 10 more seconds to beat his best lap time. A 1:37.546 is his personal best. He's got to find 2.5 tenths as he crosses the line. Will he be able to do it? No time found there, but only just. Look how close that last lap time is to his best lap time. He is pushing it really, really hard. Look at that body roll. That's what I mean. That body roll is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know. I'm not a car person at all. I don't care what's underneath the hood. I care what a car looks like, and that body roll, it just catches me. Yeah, continuing to get quite a few off tracks as we go around the circuit here. This is Eric Yeagle. He's in 6th position, number 9 Frosted Flakes machine. Can he improve on his time? A 38.099 is his best in order. Oh, no, he slides it, and around he goes. Hopefully he won't ruin anyone's lap. He does, as that is the number 23 machine, I think, there. Brandon Quigley there, it looks like. Rain off. It looks like, no, it might have been Diabetes Wolf. No, he's in, going on to finishing a lap. There we go, the number 41 finishes the lap, pulls over to the side. Just when we wanted to watch, he's pulled off. Quite a few up the top pulling in. Here comes Checkers then. He's put himself in 5th position. That top number of drivers within a second now is getting closer. He is getting closer within each of them. So now it's the top 7 within a second, but still focusing. I would say right now the top 3 could turn around at any moment. Slugger though looking quick at the moment with 4.5 minutes left and a quarter of this session to go. Obviously only a 20-minute race as well, so qualifying does mean quite a bit here, because you've got to get yourself further up the order in qualifying because you have less time to make all the overtakes. Up towards the corkscrew now comes Checkers in the number 15 machine. Heavy on the brakes. Look at that. You've already got the gravel out on circuit. as number 15 machine runs around. A few improvements there. It looked like knocking Matt Malone down to 14th position now. He's not looking like he is having the best time out there, I have to say. But here comes Checkers across the line. Can he improve on his 37.6? Apparently his current lap time is only 12 seconds long, so very possibly he could. Right, I think he is getting started properly on a lap time now. Here comes Checkers. I feel like we were in a replay, you know, the way that that went there. Something has happened. Eric Jägel has gone off of the track. He comes back on, dumping all of the gravel right between turn 10 and turn 11 at the end of the lap, and off he goes again. He's just like, okay, if I litter the track with gravel, no one behind me can improve. I think that's Jägel's goal here, is just to get gravel all over the circuit, that no one is going to go any faster. Totally Racing down in 17th position of 41 drivers that are in this race. As the Wendy's machine, what? There is a lot of I don't know, American establishments being promoted in this series. We had Taco Bell, quite a prominent incident last week. Are we going to see the Wendy's get into an incident this week? They're certainly going to hope not. We're going to certainly hope not. As Neil Trotter crosses the line, he is currently without a valid lap time. Can he get a lap time in running that number 35 race lab machine onto the brakes? Racing here in qualifying. This is a qualifying session, but they are going side by side and pushing it hard. Right, Neil Trotter. He's got a nice clear track now. We're going to ride on board. We're going to see if Neil Trotter can get in a valid lap time. He's the number 35 machine. He is currently one of two drivers without a time. Mr. Anders is the other driver without a time in this session at the moment. As looks like Checkers has got past Richard Dempsey. I don't think that was the order they were the last time I looked. A driver off the circuit to the side there. Believe that was Wyatt Way off the side of the track. As Neil Trotter heads up to the infamous corkscrew, just a minute left. This is his last attempt at getting in a valid lap time. If he doesn't get in a lap time this lap, he cannot put in another lap time with just 50 seconds now left on the clock. Mr. Anders looks like he is also out on track at the moment, but I'm not sure if his lap is valid or not right now. As Checkers has gone off the track a lot within the last 10 seconds. Just constant his name flicking through my my timing screen as Neil Trotter comes around the final turn. Looks like he is going to be able to put in a lap time, and it isn't going to be the slowest lap time either. Neil Trotter goes across the line, and he moves to 37th position. So he's not last there. As here comes Mr. Anders. Is this a valid lap? I don't think it is. So Mr. Anders looks like he's going to be starting 41st and last in this race without a lap time. No, he does cross the line with a lap time. 35th position for him. That's valid laps then for every driver. But it is this man here, Slugger, who is at the top of the timing screen as qualifying has come to an end. Drivers finishing their... Looks like they can actually finish their lap times, which is quite nice. They've got 2 minutes on the clock. That was down to 0 a moment ago, so I believe that... yeah, I believe that the session is over, but drivers are able to finish the lap times that they are on, which is nice indeed. Is Slugger going to be able to improve? Because Matty Gwill has just out of nowhere taken first, and Richard Dempsey goes pole on his last lap. Is Slugger going to be able to go on top? That was major change there. Richard Dempsey, no, Slugger pulls over, he gives up. Richard Dempsey, the man on pole position for round number 2. Oh, I don't know how he's done that. He's come from absolute nowhere. He was a couple of tenths of a second back, and on that last lap, Matty Guil just snuck in ahead of Slugger, and then Dempsey just snuck in just a little bit more. I can't believe he managed to do that. What a fantastic end to qualifying that was then, as the timer just clicks down for drivers to finish their lap times. Matt Malone is not going to be happy with his qualifying session as Mintu the White Husky gets past him right on the dying stages of the session, and he drops to 18th position. I've been told I say Diabetes Wolf quite strangely, the way that I pronounce his name. He received the meatball flag in an accident. Shall we see what's happened there? See if I can get a replay of such event. Ah, perfect. Let's see if we can try that a bit better. He's decided to have enough of the lap, and straight into the wall he goes. That front left axle absolutely demolished. Richard Dempsey then will come into pit lane. He will be the man to start the race on pole position. Fantastic indeed. What a qualifying session, and that changed right at the very end. Just almost out of nowhere, really. That just came to a close. But what a qualifying session here at Laguna Seca for the second round of the Matt Malone Patreon League. Let's talk you through the grid then, because my fantastic overlay still does not have a grid. I did make one, and then I changed all the way that it looks, and now I don't have one again, so I do apologise. But let's talk you through the grid then, because they are going to be going around for their formation lap within the next few minutes. Or is it? Doesn't look like a formation. It looks like a standing start, actually. It is a standing start, no safety car. So let's quickly run through your grid. You've got Richard Dempsey, followed by Matty Guil. Slugger in third. Aulatufu in fourth. Checkers is in fifth position, followed by Nick Bowen. Totally Racing in seventh. Eric Yeagle will start in eighth position, followed by Tony Gibboni in ninth, followed by Nick Arm in 10th position. Through the rest of the grid, you've got Brandon Quigley, Rocks Live, Drux TV, Showtime, Powski, Turbo Snail, Mintu the White Husky, Milk Drinker, which is Matt Malone, Sean Sims, and Bob's Jelly rounding out your top 20. Following that, you've got Scrubberton, Casket Man, Robert Goddard, Diabetes Wolf, Immortal Hitman, Wyatt Way, Crisps, Dan Zolo, Right Click, and Provi rounding out your top 30. Rounding out the rest of your grid, you've got Fishy, Stingray Graham, Olsen, Seeks, Mr. Anders, Iron Tatila, The Hernster, Neil Trotter, Bobby McGee, Dodo Deadman, Greg Gorilla, Phonic, and Brandon Wilmler. And we're green. We are away here for the 20-minute race at Laguna Seca. And Richard Dempsey has had a very poor start there, as there's an accident in the background, but it is Matty Guil leading the way. Lots of drivers falling down the order. I would love to show you as they get through, but I've got to wait till my timing screen connects properly as the back of the field filter in to turn number 1. This is crazy. 2 black flags, then Bobby McGee and Neil Trotter with some black flags at the back of the field, but they are still trying to find their way through. I would love to show you some more, but there are so many cars that my timing screen is absolutely freaking out right now as they come through. This is Tony Gibboni. He sits in, I believe, 7th position, but Matty Guil leads the way. Richard Dempsey is down to 3rd position already at the start of this race. Not a good start at all as they fly around on this opening lap. And it looks like Right Click has gone off the track. He's falling down the order on the right-hand side in the background there. There he is in the 171 machine. Back up towards the front as they head into the corkscrew. Lots of beating and banging. There are lots of front bumpers that are gone. As around goes Matty Guil on the opening lap from the lead of the race. Matty Guil is off as we just jump towards him. And that means Aulatufu now leads ahead of Richard Dempsey. Here comes Slugger to the left-hand side of Dempsey. Can't do anything at the moment. Some changes in the background as cars continue to go off. That is Matty Guil continuing to fall down the order. What an absolute shame that is for Matty Guil as he falls down the order. out of the lead, and he is going to have a heck of a time recovering. But what an opening lap for Milk Drinker Matt Malone. He has moved up into P11 from 18th position. His drivers getting through the opening part of the race then. Nobody, I believe, outside of your top 5 or 6 came unscathed by the look of that. There was beating and banging everywhere for almost every position on track, and we've still got cars racing each other behind, trying to filter them way in. That's Matty Grill in 23rd position. That's where he's fallen to, and that's where he's going to have to try and come up, as Eric Jägel has gone off the track. He's lost a couple of positions, and that's allowed Drux TV and Milk Drinker to get through. So 9th and 10th position. There are a lot of cars that seem to have fallen down. This is Showtime. He has served a penalty, and he is back out onto the circuit. This is Milk Drinker. He's looking to the inside of Drux TV. Can Malone do it? He's side by side for P8. It's a drag race. It's a drag race behind as well. Are they going to be able to do it as they come through up into turn number 2? And Malone easily with the overlap there. It looks like Drux TV just backing out, trying possibly to go to the switchback. Could not do it. Richard Dempsey leading the way by 2 seconds, but this is the battle that is occurring with Al Latufu in 3rd as he has fallen down from the lead. He has got a train behind him now of 4 cars. Slugger about half a second ahead. Oh, as Latufu goes off, it looks like again, but he's running on the gravel. He's going to have to try and find a safe way through. Everyone giving him just enough space. Checkers moves through, and Al Latufu returns onto the track in P4. Matty Grill has moved back into 22nd position, or has he? Because he's battling with Brandon Quigley back there to try and move through the order as we watch this battle continuing on here. This is lap 3 of the race. We're heading up towards the 4th lap, and we're already 5 minutes in. Running out your top 3 at the moment is Richard Dempsey, Slugger and Checkers, but will that change? There's not a big gap between Checkers and Al Latufu, and that was a bit of gravel being kicked up by Slugger there. Some battling going on, a lot of gravel, and that's Mintu, the White Husky, pushing Bob's Jelly off the circuit. Mecharm gets on the left-hand side. Bob's Jelly gets back onto track. Bob's Jelly is through up into 14th. Mintu, the White Husky, and Scrubbertron side by side. Scrubbertron was the driver who got forced off, I believe. Am I right? No, it was Bob's Jelly who got forced off. It looks like he wobbles. My timing screen really playing havoc on me. That's a Krispy Kreme driver. It's another lovely food out on the track, as Bob Jelly holds on to 15th position after that bit of contact. Let's go have a little bit of another look at this fight here. This is Nick Bowen from the rear of this train. He can see everyone in front of him. He's going to want to move up. He's lost 1 position since his race start. Fishy has gone past Iron Tequila down in P30. So there has been some changes. And here goes Nick Bowen on the outside. Is he going to be able to make the move here on Tony Jabroni? He goes a little bit deep, has to slow down just enough, and Tony Jabroni goes through. So it is going to be Nick Bowen still running around in 7th position. It is Matt Malone chasing them down just a second behind. There he is. He's going to want to be getting in this. Obviously starting 18th position. But this train has split up just a little bit. Look how much gravel has already been kicked up on that part of the circuit. Around the whole circuit, actually. As Richard Dempsey, out in the lead, just sets a purple lap time of a 1:36.995. As it looks like the Hernster may have gone off the circuit. No, it looks like it was just a disconnect for him. which is a shame. Back towards the front then, seeing how this is all playing out right now, and somehow Matt Malone has already closed in to this train ahead of him, which leads him all the way up to P2, because Checkers is only half a second off of Slugger. He can see that train ahead of him. The rear view on Slugger's car must be so scary right about now, because in that mirror you've just got a huge amount of cars as this looks like it's side by side ahead of Matt Malone, Tony Jabroni and Nick Bowen. There's contact, but it is going to be Jabroni around the outside, and Malone is going to try and make it 3 wide. No, it settles into 2 wide. Malone settles down into 7th, Nick Bowen down to 8th, Tony Jabroni in 6th. Still it remains, but Checkers now right on the rear end of Slugger for P2. We're about we're coming up to halfway through this race. 12 minutes on the clock. Who was that running slightly off the circuit there? That was Tony Jabroni going slightly wide, as again just some gravel being kicked up. It's almost a racing line for some of these drivers. They've got the incident points. It's a league event. Use the incident points. This is what Matt Malone always says, but it looks like Checkers is going to look towards the inside. A very wide Esport line there from Slugger, as Showtime has towed to the pits after an early penalty for him. That is not the way that he wanted his day to go. As off goes the track, goes Slugger. Checkers just not close enough to capitalise on that, but surely he's going to be able to make a move now. He knows he's got Slugger under pressure. He's going to want to do something about that. But no, he's under pressure instead. Latufu looks towards the inside, can't quite make that move. As we ride on board with Slugger here, through turn at number 6, along the Rahal straight now, and up towards the famous corkscrew. Onto the brakes. Slugger holds it. Checkers definitely having to go a little bit defensive there on Latufu. As we ride on board, you can see that fight ahead of him. Is he going to get involved? It looks like Slugger just trying to pick his lines perfectly. Checkers still trying to look for a way through here. A little bit of gravel being kicked up once more into turn number 11. Heavy on the brakes. That was definitely some tire smoke just ahead in Slugger's machine. I don't think it was gravel, but look at this. Latufu moves to the right-hand side of Checkers. This could be a move for P number 3, and Checkers could fall back down after trying to get past Slugger. Slugger safe after his off-track last lap. As Rocks Live in P18 has received a black flag. That is a shame for him. Latufu slots in behind Checkers once more. This battle for P2 ongoing. 4 cars involved in that fight. As it looks like Bob's Jelly is on the rear end here of a couple of cars in front of him. He's going to want to do something to get into the top 20. Oh, a big slide there. We saw a slide from Bob's Jelly earlier. And he's done the same thing at turn number 1. And instead of going up the order, he has fallen down the order. That is a real shame instead. As we look at the Immortal Hitman, he is in 20th position. He is leading this large train of cars here and is going to want to do something about it. What has happened to Richard Dempsey? I believe it's just my timing issue again. It is. He is smashing it out the front. I hate my timing when it decides that a driver is not going to be all the way at the front. A huge amount of curb being taken there from Checkers, as he has been overtaken by Latufu whilst we've watched that battle going on. No, Checkers! Was that contact? Was that a mistake? What has happened there? For Checkers, oh, let's see a little bit more of that. It looks like he's just gone a bit too hard on the brakes. That is a real shame. He is recovering. He's in 6th position. He's got Tony Jabroni around the outside. He is going to try and hold on to 5th position up the inside. He does. It puts Jabroni under pressure here behind by Nick Bowen. Nick Bowen moves up the inside. That's Matt Malone behind in 8th position. Malone looks like he's going to try and get the inside of Nick Bowen now, and he does make that move for 7th position. And he holds on, so Matt Malone back into 7th position, which is where his highest position has been so far this race. Richard Dempsey, look at that. He has done absolutely fantastic. Out at the front. Slugger running around in P2, also clear. Owler Tufu and Totally Racing feeling a bit clear as well now. And Checkers has checked out from Tony Jabroni. Look at that gap. Matt Malone won't allow Tony Jabroni to catch up, or is he helping him, trying to push as they go into the corkscrew, bumping his rear bumper there. Is he going to try and look for the move past 6th position and try to catch up and attack Checkers as we go up towards turn number 10? Look towards the inside, possibly slightly different racing lines. It looks like Malone's got the speed because that is slightly wide there ahead of him from Tony Jabroni. Around the outside goes Matt Malone. He's tried to do the switchback, but a great line from Tony Jabroni just stopped Matt from being able to do that switchback through the final corner, and he has to settle in back to P number 7. It's not what he would have wanted. He's not going to want to sit back there for another lap on lap 6. On lap 9 with 6 minutes to go. Expected about 13 laps in this race. We'll see how that goes. Matt Malone slowing down. No, he's going around the outside. Sorry, there he's going around the outside as he's got a nice run on the exit of turn number 2 there. Through 3, he's had to settle back in again. Look at this, 3 cars nose to tail right now. Matt Malone is wanting to find a way through, surely, because he's still under pressure from Nick Bowen behind. Bowen all over the gravel, loses a little bit, but just a minuscule amount of time, gets back onto it, sorry, and Tony Jabroni just running slightly wide, but again a minuscule amount of time. Matt Malone touching the gravel there. Everyone just teasing the gravel ever so slightly as Showtime once again towing to the pits. His day goes from bad to worst to the absolutely unforgettable as Malone tries to the inside of the corkscrew. Off track goes Jabroni, and Matt Malone goes through as well. I think that is going to be a slowdown for Jabroni, surely going there, because Nick Bowen also makes his way through, but Jabroni's not giving the position up there, side by side. And off track goes Nick Bowen. So Tony Jabroni holds it in 7th position. Nick Bowen down in P number 8, but this is the fight for P number 2. It is Slugger leading Owler Tufu, Totally Racing in 4th. Owler Tufu moves to the right hand side, swaps back to the left and ducks up the inside. There's contact. There's Slugger's wobbling and he's spun. There's more contact and through goes Totally Racing into P2. Owler Tufu and Slugger coming together in turn 2 has promoted Totally Racing into 2nd, but he's just gone wide. Is that going to give Owler Tufu an opportunity here? The Hernster with a black flag will be visiting pit lane as well, but the order goes Richard Dempsey absolutely clearing the field. 8 seconds ahead of Totally Racing. Owler Tufu in 3rd, Slugger in 4th, Checkers in 5th, Matt Malone in 6th position, right behind Checkers here for a top 5. Can he do it? Can he make his way through? I think there's still an opportunity for him to catch up to Slugger and possibly the 3rd and 2nd position. Richard Dempsey untouchable. Absolutely untouchable in this race. Brake lights on Matt Malone's car though. Obviously had a faster exit through the corkscrew, having to back off with Checkers in front of him. 2 different racing lines here. Off goes Checkers once more. Is Matt Malone going to try a switch back again here? He brakes a lot earlier than he did last time. He goes for the run on the exit. He's going to have to go to the outside because Checkers defends the inside line. Is Matt Malone going to have enough overlap before turn 2 even appears though? It looks like he might, but this is still a good opportunity. No, he goes defensive because because Checkers has dropped behind. Matt Malone up into a top 5 position as there continues to be the fight between Tony Jabroni and Nick Bowen here, and it looks like there was just A lovely overtake because Tony Jabroni goes deep at turn number 2. And through goes Nick Bowen there. Absolutely fantastic racing going on up and down the field at the moment. This is Immortal Hitman. He's in 27th position. He was, is he in 36th position? It looks like he's in 36th position. He was up in the top 20 earlier, so that is a real shame that there has been some changes in the order for him. As we look, this is Richard Dempsey. He is running already behind a back marker in front of them there. Aulatufu still on the rear end of Totally Racing, as Mech Arm has received a black flag now, which is a real shame. Not sure where Mech Arm sits in our grid order. He's certainly not inside our top 20 as a quick scan there. Matty Gwill was in the lead of this race on the opening lap before spinning off between turn 10 and 11. He has recovered to P11 so far. Can he get himself back into a top 10? That will be his hope, I am sure. Checkers chasing, well, trying to stick with Matt Malone for 5th position, maybe find his way through. Back into that top 5. Less than a second there, as that's a back marker moving out of the way, I believe. That is a back marker moving out of the way for the lead for 2nd and 3rd position of Total Racing and Aulatufu. But the gap between Slugger and Matt Malone is now less than a second, so there could be an opportunity for 4th position there. I'm going to say it's white flag next lap looking at our time, so I don't think Matt Malone is going to be able to battle for the podium, but he could possibly catch up to Slugger and go for that move. It's down to 7/10 now, but this is the battle for 2nd position. Totally Racing slightly wide off the circuit. Aulatufu behind. He looks towards the inside. Can he make that move? No. It takes a lot of the curb. He's going to follow behind. Surely he's going to try and pressure Totally Racing into some sort of mistake here. He moves to the outside. Doesn't activate spotter. Totally Racing pulls across. Doesn't make any mistake through the corkscrew. Both running extremely smoothly, but Latufu straight away dives to the inside of Totally Racing. They're side by side. They're going to stay side by side as they come up towards turn number 10. Totally Racing holds the position, but he slides. There's a bit of a wobble. There's contact with Latufu. Latufu now on the inside into the final turn. And he is going to hold on to P number 2. Totally Racing behind now as Checkers has also made his way back past Matt Malone. I think there's been some sort of issue there for Malone as he comes through. It says he was driving slowly. It looks like he's just had... Here he goes, moves to the right-hand side of Slugger. And contact! Contact from behind Checkers! Hitting Matt Malone! And knocking him out of the top 5. Contact with the lead administrator. Oh my word, that is really dangerous racing. But Checkers here has made his way up to P4 because Totally Racing is down to P5. What has happened here for Totally Racing on this last lap of the race? We're going to go back live to the fight in just one moment as Checkers and Sluggers fight it out. A big slide for Totally Racing. Here we go. Checkers is up into 3rd. This is now a 4-car fight for P3. Starting from 18th on the grid. Matt Malone probably was not expecting to be in this position. It is the last lap of the race. Checkers leading Sluggers, leading Matt Malone, leading Totally Racing. Up towards the final corners here. Is Matt Malone going to give some sort of revenge? No, he goes off the circuit himself. He could be under pressure from Totally Racing as we head into the final 2 corners as Richard Dempsey wins the race. Aulatufu is going to get P2. Who is going to get P3? It looks like Checkers has got it, but Slugger's got a great run out of the final turn. But Checkers takes P3 in this race. Slugger in P4. Matt Malone in P5, Totally Racing in 6th position. Eric Yeagle has a black flag, so will cross the line and very possibly be disqualified from this race with that, as drivers continue to cross the line towards the rear end of the field. But towards the very back drivers are still heading around on their last lap here. Through the corkscrew we go. This is Brandon Wimler, 32nd position. He started in 42nd position in this race. Last position off the track goes Iron Tequila behind Brandon Wimler. 32nd position here, chasing down Turbo Snail for 31st position. It looks like there are some timing issues as always. With such a huge grid for this field, we will get the final full race results very, very shortly, because that includes some black flags that were unserved at the end of that race. Here is the man who won, though, from pole position and absolutely dominated once he returned back into P1. It's Richard Dempsey, the second winner of the Matt Malone Patreon League here at round number 2. Absolutely fantastic. Let's talk you through the entire race results then as we finish here at Laguna Seca, and I can take a breath. Richard Dempsey wins at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca circuit, followed by Aula Tufu in P2. Checkers, with a questionable move for 4th position, moved his way up into 3rd right at the final end. Mr. Anders with technical problems, unfortunately, moving him down the field for a 2nd week in a row. I am so sorry for you, Mr. Anders. It was Slugger who came across the line in 4th, followed by Matt Malone in 5th. Totally Racing crossed the line in 6th position, followed by Nick Bowen, Tony Jabroni, Matty Gwill and Drux TV rounding out your top 10. It was Sean Sims who crossed the line in 11th, followed by Mintu the White Husky. Diabetes Wolf finished in 13th. Wyatt Way behind in 14th position. Scrabberton crossed the line in 15th, followed by Stingray Graham, Brandon Quigley, Casket Man, Robert Goddard, Bob's Jelly, rounding out your top 20. Running down the rest of your field, we had Dan Zolo, Powski, Fishy, Provi, Eric Yeagle, Right Click, Olsenex, Siegs, Crisps, Rocks Live in the top 30. Turbo Snail, Brandon Wimler, Iron Tequila, Immortal Hitman, Bobby McGee, The Hernster, Neil Trotter, Greg Gorilla, Fronek in 38th. And it was Deadman and Mech Arm with black flags down at the back of the field, unfortunately for them, in 39th and 40th. Mr. Anders with his technical positions in 41st position. And Showtime with multiple issues, leaving the race with 5 laps behind in the end. Next week, then, is going to be round 3. We have made it to the end of the 2nd week of the Matt Malone Patreon League. It's drawing to a close, and what a race it was. Once again, a spin right at the very front, right on the first lap, but this time it was from Matty Gwill on the very first lap, from the lead on his own. But he recovered to P9, so what a great recovery drive for him, with Richard Dempsey winning from pole position. Next week, we head off to Mosport in the Radical SR8, so be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss the stream. I don't own all of the content in iRacing, so I would really love it if you could consider subscribing to the channel and allowing me to use that money towards the contents that I can continue to be paying for the iRacing service, and all the contents that I can bring you these broadcasts every single week. But definitely hit that follow button so you're notified when I go live and you don't miss a single race. So thank you for joining me here today at the virtual WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca circuit, and I'll be seeing you all next week in Canada.
Strapped in tight with the steering wheel glow. Engines roar as the tension starts to grow. All the racers lined up feeling the heat. The Matt Malone League is where legends meet. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move echo in the revving sound. Each corner sharp, where champions are found. Dust flies high as rivals clash and spin. The path to the podiums, where it all begins. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move could shatter the fight, but we're speeding through the Patreon night. No shortcuts here, just burning track. One chance forward, there's no turning back. Every racer's name carved into the grind, a community fueled by a passionate mind. Night lights sparkle on the asphalt maze. Through every twist, a fiery blaze. The crowd's electric, their pulses ignite. Matt Malone's turf lights up the night. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move could shatter the fight, but we're speeding